How should John Rhys Plumlee be graded at the midway point of the UCF 2022 season? Well, 7 games in. I wanted to see the East Carolina game before I gave a grade because that's the first true difficult road game. And quite frankly, he did not pass that grade with 4 total turnovers, 3 interceptions, and a fumble. Prior to that, though, he had been doing very well. And on the season, he has 11 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, as well as another 7 touchdowns on the ground. But again, he also had that fumble. This is a very dynamic player, but one that needs to not get caught up in the moment. Sometimes he tries to create more, in my opinion, than what John Rhys Plumlee should. If it's not there, it's okay to throw the football away. One of the things that a lot of coaches talk about, and it's something that Saban mentions often, if a drive ends in a punt, a kick that's a field goal or an extra point, it was a good drive. Anything else, probably not so good. That's the situation UCF is in. When they don't turn the football over, they tend to be good. When they do turn the football over, like anybody else, they struggle. Plumlee had some issues early in the year adjusting to the offense and the players within it. Once Javon Baker and him really kind of got going, that's when the offense took another step forward. Baker was out for the most part against East Carolina, and it showed. So there needs to be more consistency for UCF with other receivers because Baker is going to get banged up like anybody else. Even if it's for 2 plays, you have to be dynamic during those 2 plays as well. Johnny Richardson, Isaiah Bowser, Gamble, they have O'Keefe, Kobe Hudson. They need to be more consistent considering their skill talent. And that's part of the reason that even though he could still end up being Conference Player of the Year for the offense, it's pretty difficult to look at this and say, well, what's the deal? Why is he turning the ball over? Why would you consider that? He's also had like 4 games with 300-plus passing yards. He's dynamic. It is one of the most unique seasons I've ever seen in terms of a guy being high or low. 49 passing yards in the game against Georgia Tech. I think it was like 3 passing yards in the second half. I've never heard of a stat like that. But then he turns around and just goes off. UCF needs to stabilize that position. And a lot of that's just on John. It's the most difficult position in sports. He knows that. Very intelligent young man. If he can do that, UCF is going to be right in the midst of the conference championship beginning this week when they play Cincinnati. He has to go for 200-plus yards, I think, through the air and at least 50 on the ground and be very efficient in the red zone just for that game in particular. And if he can do that, his chances, again, of being Conference Player of the Year will certainly be in play because UCF can win. Mitigating the turnovers, obviously, is the unknown. Will they be able to do that against a very stout Cincinnati defense? I don't know, but that's what we're going to find out because it's been a roller coaster so far. For my overall grade, I give him a B- because the turnovers are a thing for me that just drive me nuts. I don't understand why he's missing some of the defenders in space that he shouldn't be. I know he hasn't played quarterback for a lot of time, but he's still a senior in college, and he's been studying this stuff for a long time. He needs to improve his turnover ratio. So with that, B-, but there's still a chance to get into the A- range before the season's over. There's still 5 games left.